Welcome back to America's Forum. Let's welcome in our friend Javier Manjarres of the Shark Tank political blog. The beard is gone. Did you shave that to go up to Capitol Hill last week?
No, actually, matter of fact, I shaved it the minute Senator Ted Cruz said I looked like Paul Bunyan.
So all it took was a remark from Ted Cruz. Would that have worked in the U.S. Senate to stop amnesty over the weekend?
No, but it had more to do with how much it itched, so I left it at that.
Oh, okay. It wasn't Ted Cruz alone. You know, no. Ted Cruz made news this weekend, in part because he angered his Senate colleagues on both sides of the aisle. We heard Harry Reid and Dick Durbin badmouth him in the last segment. But as much as they badmouth him, and as much as the Washington establishment grinds their teeth, does that empower Ted Cruz? Is he the de facto head of the Tea Party?
I think he's the de facto head of the whole Republican caucus in the Senate. And people are looking up to him. I don't know if you saw the video that we shot with Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, where she praised Ted Cruz for being more bipartisan than what he's been given credit for. I mean, Republicans on the House side as well as the Senate are praising him for his work in the Senate. That speaks volumes.
Well, you mentioned Ileana, and she's on the other side of that immigration issue.
Right.
Ted Cruz actually talked with you about the subject of amnesty last week. Let's take a listen to how that went down.
President Obama's executive amnesty is astonishing, and it's dangerous. You know, 6 weeks ago, we had an election, and as the president rightly noted, his policies were on the ballot all over the country. We had a referendum on amnesty, and the American people overwhelmingly said, no, we don't want amnesty. We want to respect the rule of law. We welcome, we embrace legal immigrants, those who follow the rules and come here seeking a better life, but we don't support amnesty. And then what the president's done is really remarkable. He came out of the election, not chastened that the American people have repudiated his agenda, but instead angry and defiant, and disregarding the views of the American people. Now listen, amnesty for 5 million people who are here illegally is, number one, unfair. It's unfair to the millions of legal immigrants who follow the rules. It's, number two, unfair to the 92 million working age Americans right now who aren't working. We've got the lowest labor force participation since 1978, and the Obama administration, instead of fighting for jobs for people who are out of work, is printing up work authorizations directly contrary to federal law to 5 million people who are here illegally. And number three, it's particularly harmful in the African American community. The African American community is facing historic levels of unemployment, and unfortunately this administration is not acting to create an environment for economic growth. Instead, it's issuing work authorizations for people here illegally. But I'll tell you, Javier, even more dangerous than the underlying substance of the amnesty is how this was done. The president's executive amnesty is flat out lawless. It is unconstitutional. There's nothing in the Constitution that gives the president the authority to ignore federal law, to unilaterally change it. You know, actually, I think nothing summed it up better than the opening skit of Saturday Night Live, right after this was announced, where they had, you remember Schoolhouse Rock, where they had, how a bill becomes a law? And it started with the bill coming up saying, I pass the House, I go to the Senate, and if I'm lucky, it gets signed by the president and become a law. And what happens? President Obama walks out to the steps of the Capitol and pushes the bill down the steps.
Like 4 times.
4 times. And out steps an executive order sitting there just smoking a cigarette and says, yeah, I'm an executive order. I just happened. Look, what's amazing, Saturday Night Live had it exactly right. And this is dangerous. Listen, if the President of the United States can ignore federal immigration law, can rewrite it, we are undermining the constitutional protections of this country, and that's not theoretical. I mean, 2 centuries ago, the framers of this country fought a revolution against a monarchy. We've seen when one individual has unlimited authority to make the law, to change the law unilaterally, that's called a monarchy. I mean, it is a system of government. There are nations on earth today that have monarchies. Our nation was founded when we fought a revolution against a monarchy. And the Constitution was written because we didn't want the president to have the authority to just decree what law was. We wanted the president to follow the Schoolhouse Rock procedure, to go through the House, through the Senate, through, part of it is to do that takes compromise. And this president doesn't compromise. He doesn't believe in it. He decrees what he wants, and if the American people don't simply roll over and give it to him, then he's trying to decree it unilaterally. And if this president can do that, there's nothing to stop the next president from using the same prosecutorial discretion to refuse to enforce our tax laws or our labor laws or our environmental laws. And in my view, in face of what the president is doing, we're facing a constitutional crisis. And it is incumbent on Congress to stand up and use every constitutional check and balance we have, every constitutional authority to rein in an out-of-control executive. You know, the framers in the Federalist Papers talked about the danger of an out-of-control executive. And the two most important that we should use are, number one, the incoming Senate Majority Leader should use the nomination and confirmation power and should say that in the 114th Congress, not a single presidential appointee will be confirmed, executive or judicial, other than for vital national security positions, unless and until the president stops this illegal amnesty. That is a direct constitutional power given the Senate. It's meant to be a check on executive authority, and the incoming Senate Majority Leader should use it. And then second, we should use the power of the purse. The most powerful check the Constitution gives Congress is the power over money, and we should fund the vast majority of the federal government. Nobody wants a government shutdown. But we should use the power of the purse on funding for the Department of Homeland Security to say no money being appropriated by Congress shall be used for implementing illegal executive amnesty. That's what we should do, and I hope very much we see Republicans stand up and do exactly that.
Well, Ted Cruz tried to get that done this weekend, but Republicans, including a lot of guys from the Gang of Eight, went the other way with the Democrats, and so that was frozen out. Now, waiting till the springtime. Javi, how much time did you get with Ted Cruz?
About 40 minutes.
Well, we're using quite a bit of it. We heard him there on amnesty. Coming up, we'll hear what Senator Cruz has to say about that CIA report and also about the ongoing investigation with Benghazi and possible 2016 Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton, her involvement there. Of course, that brings us back to 2016 and what Ted Cruz may be up to. We'll talk to you about that as well. Javier Manjarres will stay with us here. Right now, we step aside for a Newsmax Now update.